A member of this video, bitch, is Life in the Red Kim, bitch. I love you, Gail. I hope you're doing well. Tell the hubby I said hello. I hope you guys are doing great. I saw you and I was like, oh my god, yes, she's the member of this video, bitch. Oh, oh, wait. And then we've got our 5 featured subscribers. Remember, like and subscribe to the video. Also, become a member if you want to. Like I do, these Gypsy Rose videos are always a day early with no ads for my members. And then they go on to everybody else. And when everybody else says, why are there comments on this video? It just got posted. You could say, because I'm a member. Yes, bitch. I'm special. And then, yeah. And it helps scale out. You know what I'm saying? All of it is to support the channel. I promise you that. I put a lot into it. I pay for editing. I just do whatever. I love it. It's my thing. I want to do that. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. But if you guys want to support the channel or say thank you for the content, whatever, joining the memberships or, doing something out of the wish list or whatever you do. Also, just plain watching the videos, liking, subscribing, all that helps a lot too. I'm not trying to just say monetarily you can help the channel. Any way you can help the channel. I appreciate you 110, 20,000%. Okay? Super chats, cash apps, whatever. I appreciate it all. I'm so very fucking grateful. You have no idea. Really, truly, from the bottom of my heart. It makes me emotional to think about you guys thinking that I'm that special to help me out like that, but I really want you to know I'm very grateful for you, okay? Now, with that being said, let's get to this motherfucking video. Do you know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up, bitch. You sentimental bullshit. Jesus. But you're all very much appreciated on this channel, and you should be told every time, okay? I'm going to try to be going live on Friday and Saturday nights at 8 p.m., and so tonight's Friday, beware and be square. So, yeah, we're going to be doing that, and we're going to go live tonight. Tonight, I'll do members only for a little while, see how it goes. If anybody comes in, we'll do some whatever. And then Saturday's open chat or whatever. So we'll see how it goes, though. If it happens to not be anything with members, nobody's online, I'll just switch over to public. We'll go that route. Sorry, my brain farted for a minute there. That happens to me a lot now. And my heart is with anybody that's suffering. Okay, anyways, like I told you in the other video, I recently fractured my pelvic area, tailbone thing. Okay? Because of that, I fell in my bathroom. So if you see a bruise on my head here, I don't know if you can see it. I fell down in my bathroom and bounced off my forehead, apparently, because I passed, I went to turn in there. I got a really bad pain in my pelvic area, and it gave me a rush, and I got dizzy and fell. So that's what happened there. But plus, Chris likes to hang out in the lives too, so it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. See you tonight, 8 o'clock. But I do that because too, I don't have a lot of family. I don't, Speaking of, I'm gonna put the applications for a big sister, and I think I need an aunt. I only got, my mom and his mom, and that's it. So I need an aunt, I need a sister, I need an uncle. I need a good uncle. Preferably a goofy-ass gay uncle would be fun. I'm just teasing. Fuck. Imagine Gypsy Rose as a child, as being the feisty little bitch that she is. You know what I'm saying? I've heard so many stories, like I talked about in the other video, of Dee Dee allegedly being afraid of Gypsy Rose. I've heard a couple of stories of Gypsy Rose being very mean and aggressive as a child, towards other children especially. In fact, even, getting kicked out of certain little event things in the community because of it. That's all alleged. My, things that I found on public forums online. So, it's all alleged. Whatever. And she had this evil look, but then she had that soft-spoken childlike, I'm just a cute little disabled girl. So everybody would let it go, whatever, when she would do things. But that's probably not what they should have done, because I think that was done to her a lot. and which made her very entitled and spoiled, like, if you will.
I have always fully believed that Gypsy was abusing her mother, Dee Dee, because most adults who have children don't necessarily say, please don't hurt me, unless they are fearful of their child. And I believe that Dee Dee was definitely in fear of her life for some reason. And we look back to what Gypsy has told us and what the evidence also tells us. And the evidence tells us that Gypsy chased her mother from her bedroom with the BBGUN and started shooting. Like, she chased her from her bedroom. There are holes in the wall that show that she was in her bedroom when this happened. And the holes in the wall go from Gypsy's bedroom all the way into the living room. So whatever happened there, it was not like Dee Dee did anything to warrant this specific behavior. For Gypsy to be this comfortable chasing her mother through her mother's house with a BBGUN tells you that this was not the first time that there was violence between the two. Now, we all know, if you've studied domestic violence at all, we know that there is a history and a pattern of abuse where the perpetrator escalates the abuse. And this to me sounds like it escalated. That maybe it started off with, Gypsy throwing things at her. Who knows what it started with. But I do believe that Gypsy was always being abusive towards Dee Dee. And the evidence proves that. And her behavior today also continues to prove that she is a violent person. She's not somebody that can be trusted. She clearly does not know how to regulate her emotions, and she acts in a rage when she doesn't get her way. Remember when she was talking to Ryan on the show, and he was telling her, about the money, like, tell your parole officer that this is your job or whatever, and the way that she got so angry at him whenever he said that, it was really kind of scary how she switched so quickly from, being calm to aggressively screaming at him, and her face turned red. So this to me signals that she doesn't have very good coping skills, does not know how to manage her emotions, and I can definitely agree that Gypsy was the aggressor when it came to her and Dee Dee. I believe that Dee Dee was obviously afraid. Now, if you don't know anything about domestic violence, most of the time, the victims never report the abuse because they believe that no one is going to believe them. And we have to think back to the dynamic with Dee Dee and Gypsy at that particular time in what was going on in their life. Gypsy was publicly known as this sick girl who was confined to a wheelchair. So the likelihood of people believing that Gypsy was being abusive towards Dee Dee was probably highly unlikely, because they knew her out in public as this sick, meek, weak child confined to a wheelchair that, couldn't really protect or take care of herself. So I believe that Dee Dee was very scared of Gypsy, scared that nobody would believe her, that she was being abused by Gypsy, and I'm pretty sure she was in fear every day of her life. Once Gypsy did, try to shoot her with the BBGUN, and when she came after her with the dagger. We don't know if she actually did anything to her when she came at her with the dagger. It's very possible that there could have been small cut marks on Dee Dee's body that may have healed by the time she was actually unalived, that may have shown that Gypsy was trying to do something to her. But you can tell that Dee Dee was definitely scared of Gypsy, as I fear most people in her life are, and that's the reason why they don't stand up to her and hold her accountable. I believe they're all scared of her because they know that she has committed matricide and that she probably would do it again. I don't think that this was a situation where it's me or the other person, because Dee Dee was in her bed, asleep. She posed absolutely no threat to Gypsy at that point in time, and Gypsy could have left. She could have walked out. So the idea that she had no other option is just ludicrous, because there were plenty of options. The girl was on the internet talking to men 3 times her age, and her mom was trying to tell her, like, this isn't cool, like, this is dangerous, whatever. Being a parent, trying to hold her accountable. And as we've seen with Gypsy's behavior, anytime somebody holds her accountable or tries to hold her accountable, she proclaims that she is being controlled, that people are trying to control her. She sees accountability, or people saying, hey, this isn't right, whatever. She sees that as control. She does not like to hear that her actions and behaviors are problematic. And that is one of the biggest reasons why she is in the situation that she is in right now, because nobody wants to tell her no. Why, I'm not exactly sure why nobody wants to tell her no, but something is going to happen, and she will eventually re-offend because she has people around her that are not holding her accountable, that are not saying, hey, Gypsy, this behavior isn't good. You don't look good. You need to change this, that, or the other. They're allowing her to continue to manipulate and abuse the internet and the friends that she does have in her life. Bree is one of her primary victims at this particular time, and she doesn't even realize that she is a victim. But yes, to answer your question, I do believe that Dee Dee was in fear of Gypsy, and that's the way that it always was. I believe that Gypsy was very abusive towards her mother, Dee Dee. Probably, I would say, when she turned 18 or 19, and the behavior escalated from there. Because there are reports of Gypsy being violent with her mother, because most parents aren't saying to their children, please don't hurt me. This was Dee Dee's way of saying, like, I know you're about to do something that could potentially harm me. I believe she was constantly in fear of her life. Say hi to these little guys. They're almost done. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But if you know anything about domestic violence, most of the victims do lose their life at the hands of their specific abuser. So this is...
I mean, there's still holes in the walls of that house from when she was shooting Dee Dee with the BB gun. I mean, I could just imagine poor Dee Dee running around like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I try to put myself in the shoes of them, you know, during certain situations that they've talked about. And just like, poor Dee Dee, like, I can't imagine. Gypsy always made sure, though, that she was going to get away with everything that she did. She was very calculated in that way, always has been, always probably will be. And she has poor impulse control, which the 1Q21.1 microdeletion, you know, causes poor impulse control and other mental conditions, as well as the microcephaly, because having a small head, her brain is like, don't quote me on any of that. Okay, listen. I think that Dee Dee was she was getting ill at the time of her unaliving, and I believe that she was getting tired of doing the con. She wanted to be done with it, you know, but Gypsy wanted to keep going. She was addicted to getting that money and that clout and getting everything she wanted.
Gypsy Rose and her mom were a fucking dynamic duo, that's what I think. And it wasn't only Dee Dee who was accused of things like Munchausen. Gypsy was accused of malingering in her medical records. Doctor said that she was lying on her test. Her hearing test, she said she was not answering correctly on purpose. Same thing with the sensation test doctors did on her legs. Gypsy told doctors she had no feeling below the pelvic area. Doctors did the sensation test and she reacted to their touch. It was documented that, you know, she was possibly malingering. Yes, the doctor did say that Dee Dee had possible Munchausen by proxy, or that there was some underlying etiology causing Gypsy's symptoms, which was true, her microdeletion. This is a message from Gypsy to her neighbor. After the murder, this message was leaked, but they cut it off before Gypsy tells her neighbor about her microdeletion. Gypsy tells Aaliyah that she has a microdeletion that is causing all her health issues, and then she says, but I'm a fighter. This is right before she meets Nick at the movies, by the way. Gypsy is also the one who told the doctors that the Botox was no longer working, so she was choking and drooling, and she couldn't swallow without choking. Gypsy told the doctors that, and that's when they removed some of her salivary glands. There was a study done on kids with factitious disorder imposed on themselves. Yeah, kids do this shit too, not just adults. Problem is, kids who do it to themselves a lot of time go undiagnosed, and they did this study on kids between the ages of 6 to 18. In the FOIA reports, it talks about how Gypsy told Nick when she was 6 years old, she had a surgery. During the surgery, she had a seizure. The seizure caused Gypsy to have paralysis in her legs. Gypsy tells Nick when she started getting feeling back in her legs, she didn't tell her mom for fear that her mom would not love her. Like I said, fucking dynamic duo, man. They were money motivated. This wasn't just about attention, sympathy. It was about money. It was about free trips. It was about meeting celebrities, having lifetime backstage passes to people's concerts anytime they went. Front row seats in the movie theaters every time they went. Flights, angel flights, constantly. This was going on way before they ever left Louisiana. So either Rod and Christy knew, because they did family visits regularly, up until 2005 when Katrina hit. Gypsy's hair has been short since she was young. Even now, since being free, she goes shorter and shorter. Hell, she'll be here before knowing. So yeah, I think they were in on this shit together. And Gypsy and Dee Dee didn't like doctor hop either. One of Gypsy's doctors moved from Louisiana to Missouri, and they started seeing him again. He saw Gypsy almost her whole fucking life. Yes, they did go to a lot of specialists up until the microdeletion was found, which was in 2011. And just so we're clear, the first case of this microdeletion she has wasn't even documented until 2008. There was no blueprint for Dee Dee to go off of. So yeah, I think they were the dynamic duo. Gassed up Gypsy's microdeletion for money. And now that Dee Dee's dead, Gypsy uses her mama's death for money. Yeah, that's how, yeah. This is just my opinion, girl. All alleged, entertainment purposes only, you know, the rest. Well, I got the shit from her case.
So she didn't want all that to go away, but she also knew that her mom was getting in the way of her having boyfriends and whatever, and she wanted to get married and have children. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then can you imagine that fucking evil ass look that she would give? Because you can see it sometimes when she does her videos and shit. Like her little nasty eye roll, slap the shit out of you type shit, bitch. Oh, I mean, just think of it. This tiny ass, big nose fucking chick chasing you around with a fucking BB. I'd be scared out of my mind too. Like you're on the Leprechaun movies or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that stuff. But oh my God, think about it for a second. Oh my goodness. She's like the troll under the bridge. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I look like a big tree. So whatever. That's why this hurts so bad. Because when I fall, I fall. I don't just, oh, I fell. No, I'm putting a hole in the ground type shit. She brings up how there's usually like a pattern of abuse with abuse victims. And I believe wholeheartedly that Gypsy was not getting her way at home. She was getting very, very upset about that fact. Yeah. So, and P.S. the dogs in the video with Viv, you'll love it. They're so adorable. So that's, I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't stop. I love it. And also, you know, if you think about it, Gypsy Rose had to have been abusing her mom because her hands were so bruised up when they arrested her.
We've all heard Gypsy Rose's story about her abuse, all the abuse her mother put her through, the medical abuse and the physical abuse and the psychological abuse, right? We've all heard the story. But what if Gypsy Rose was actually the one abusing Dee Dee Blanchard? Think about it for a second. She already admitted to pulling not just a BB gun, but a dagger on her mother. Sitting there, holding them both right to her mother, right? And then you have the bruised knuckles. Why were the knuckles on both of her hands bruised when she was picked up with Nick? Why were they bruised? If she was the one being abused by her mother, then why was she the one with bruises on her knuckles? I'm just saying. Nobody talks about the bruises on the knuckles, but to me, it needs to be addressed. She didn't address it in her books. She didn't address it in any of her interviews. Nobody has ever asked her about it publicly. Hey, Gypsy, you want to explain the bruises on your hands? I'm just saying there's that.
Still, after being fled from the scene for how long and that, your hands are still that bruised. Imagine how they were in the beginning. Now, I know that when you're stabbing someone, you will get cut on your hand because the knife gets slippery, you know, and your hand will slide down. And I don't know for sure if she was a part of the stabbing because I believe there would have been cuts on her hand. But it's very much possible that she wanted to make sure maybe that her mom was not conscious when he got there and she knocked her out. Something happened. Something made her knuckles like that, unless she beat the fuck out of Nick or something. So this person commented on Facebook saying that yes, it was a neighborhood secret though that they knew she could walk. And that's also why Ken said that they blocked off the window. Because Gypsy Rose wanted to walk freely amongst the house without her neighbors finding out. But I don't know, maybe it wasn't for the neighbors. Maybe it was for the people that were just going to come over and like stop by. They don't know when. So they have to make sure that they cover all bases. Who knows? I believe that they were very paranoid about it though, obviously. And Gypsy Rose did have weak muscles in her legs. So
I don't know why I think Gypsy Rose's hands are weak. Now read this blue highlighted part. There's a line that talks about how Gypsy Rose has a syrinx at C7 and C9 in the spinal cord. Now, a syrinx is basically a cyst filled with fluid in the spinal cord, like you see up here and here. And I'm going to add an overlay so you'll know how it's diagnosed too. Centriomelia is the big word. I can't say it. It's a fluid-filled cavity that can form within the spinal cord, causing a variety of symptoms. These can include progressive muscle weakness and atrophy, loss of sensation to pain and temperature, headaches, and stiffness. Remember how she told Nick that she liked to be bit really hard? She freaking had bruises from letting him bite her. Really important, muscle weakness and atrophy. The syrinx can lead to progressive weakness and wasting of muscles, often starting in the hands and arms. As you can see, loss of reflexes in the upper limbs can be a sign. Stiffness and spasms, difficulty with coordination and balance problems, difficulty walking. Again, this is the definition of what the syrinx is. That's the big technical term. Other symptoms can include pain, weakness, sensory change like numbness or altered sensation, and in some cases, problems with the bladder or bowel control. Now, the syrinx is not caused by the microdeletion, like it's not linked to the microdeletion. However, the symptoms that the microdeletion cause the syrinx. That's how I'm reading it. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Neurological symptom that they said Gypsy had. I can't think of what it is right now, but I will get it. Don't worry. Gypsy is homeschooled by her mother, and Pate Elementary is available for backup for mom. It says 07 on it. Anyway, it says Gypsy had a mild global cognitive impairment. And this is what that is. Experience memory or thinking problems. Neurological symptoms. Mild global cognitive impairment is what I was trying to find, by the way. Now, if Gypsy still has this syrinx, and she's still going to have these symptoms. From what I'm understanding, her microdeletion causes certain things that cause that syrinx. I haven't seen anywhere where they have drained them. Other things I saw as far as procedures is like just keeping an eye on them and monitoring them. Let me know what you think. This is what I think though. This is all my opinion, all alleged, but I used her medical documents to come to this conclusion, by the way. Bye.
Oh my God, I said legs like Amber Lynn again. She's rubbing off on me. Son of a bitch. Anyways, check out my Amber Lynn videos. Y'all understand. And so she has the weak muscles in her legs, okay? And so she did need the wheelchair, but it just wasn't all the time. I think that Gypsy's mom did know that she could walk, that Gypsy knew she could walk, obviously, and that they did do it just for the con, and it just went too far, ultimately. And I believe that Dee Dee was just ready to be done with it, and like I said, Gypsy wasn't ready. And it's because of the microdeletion, the 1Q21.1 microdeletion, that her muscles in her legs were weak. And that's why they did the test for muscular dystrophy. Okay? And it was in one of her medical records that she was put down for malingering or whatever, because they said that when they did the test to see if she had feeling in her legs, that she kind of twitched or whatever. And so they felt like she was malingering. Also, there was a report in one of them that said that it was possible that Dee Dee had Munchausen by proxy, but nothing ever came out of it. So obviously, it turned out that she was fine, or that they didn't speculate that any longer, because they would have brought it up eventually, you know? Yeah, this person claims that Gypsy was severely abusive to Dee Dee, was a very evil child, always was having this evil-eyed look on her face. Then I decided I wanted to check out some Reddit posts. Because, of course, you know, Reddit is the place you go. That's where you go to find some bullshit you want to hear. If you want to find some bullshit, you go to Reddit. Now, I found more evidence proving that Gypsy was a mean-spirited, evil bitch as a child. But I don't like calling children bitches, but Gypsy Rose is an exception. But this is all alleged. So anyways, it's my opinion for educational and informational purposes only. Please don't go to these people and spread any hate. Don't touch the poop. Okay? That being said, let's move on. But Dee Dee's family, they were not strangers to scamming. Oh, no. Don't let them fool you with their bullshit. They weren't strangers to it, okay? Dee Dee's own mother. How do you think they all learned? How do you think Gypsy learned? How do you Dee Dee didn't just grow up, like I've said before. She didn't just pop out the womb as a con artist. She had to have some training. And I think that whole family's got a little bit of little bit of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that person that posted this says that they're not sure of the validity of the post, but she was also reported to have bitten a child while at an event and they were kicked out. She threatened that one child also with poking her eyes in the back of her head at the zoo. I mean, honestly, none of it surprises me because I've heard stories before about shit like that with her. And I believe that she just was one of those kids. I believe that Dee Dee probably told her all the time that she was going to get everything she wanted. Just be patient. Da, 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 da. You're sick. Everyone wants to help you. Da, da, da. And then Gypsy Rose all of a sudden didn't get what she wanted and took her mother's life for dick. That's how it went. Bottom line. Gypsy Rose wants to play these other narratives and act like she just had no other choice. Yes, you did. And then you did what you did, put a cock in your mouth, and went to jail. That's the story. I just get so upset. It says, Gypsy Rose threatened my 8-year-old daughter with autism. What's with you and kids with autism, bitch? Anyways, by saying she would use her thumbs to push her eyeballs in the back of her head. She did then this in the normal voice before her mom was, you know, the, oh my God voice. And then Fancy from Good Wives Network commented commented with when and where did this happen? And the lady said, we were at a community outing at a zoo in Springfield, Missouri. Gypsy was in her daughter's group. Then just to add to my point that Dee Dee was controlled and abused towards the end of her life, especially because Dee Dee was getting very sick, like I said. She didn't look well either, you guys. You know, Gypsy decided to send Nick Godejohn a list of her favorite things right before this happened as well. Let's read her favorite childhood memory on this post here. It says, when I was 7 years old, but she never knew her age, I thought, right? I was so sick in the hospital, and my mommy was so worried about me that she picked me up and held me in her arms, rocked me, and sang me songs. That's your favorite childhood memory? But I thought you were abused, Gypsy Rose. Huh. I thought she was always like evil and mean to you. Huh. Gypsy was born. Put yourself in their shoes. Gypsy was born. She has microcephaly, a small head. Probably scary as fuck for Dee Dee as her first child, right? Which in then of itself has its own issues. It does. Look it up. Gypsy Rose wants to claim it has no issues. No, it definitely has issues. Think about it. Your head is really small. Your brain isn't going to be able, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. And it's common in people with the 1Q2 1.1 microdeletion like Gypsy has, okay? But keep in mind, they didn't find this out about the microdeletion until 2011, okay? And I think Gypsy was, 15, 17, something like that? Her mother was worried sick the whole time trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So yeah, she was going through procedure after procedure trying to figure it out. And the teeth thing, Gypsy Rose was sucking on a motherfucking bottle in a pacifier for God knows how long. And she was doing nothing but drinking Pepsi and bullshit like that. Rotted all of her teeth out. And she wants to play these fucking victim ass motherfucking games. Acting like there's other reasons for shit. When we clearly find out the truth. And then she doesn't say shit. She doesn't try to fix it or anything. She's just like, oh God, they found out. So pathetic. Anyways, sorry, I get a little mad. Sorry. I gotta take a deep breath. Son of a bitch. This is my happy place. Now when Gypsy Rose is on the line. So then, on top of it, Gypsy Rose had sleep apnea as a baby. That had to be scary as fuck. And the grandpa confirms it in one of the documentaries talking about her breathing machine, and she would stop breathing in the middle of the night and yada, yada, yada. Now, this is Dee Dee's first child, mind you. Keep that in mind. She's probably scared out of her fucking mind. All these medical things going on with Gypsy Rose. She doesn't know what to do, right? She's trying to do everything she can to get it figured out. She's got Gypsy going to the doctor. They're testing things. They're trying to figure things out. In the meantime, Gypsy's got rotten fucking teeth. She's worried about that, right? You know, and then she was not thriving because At the age of 13, she was the weight of a 7-year-old. Okay? So yeah, she kind of needed that feeding tube. And at that time, that was with the feeding tube. Like, holy fuck. If she tries to act like she didn't need that feeding tube, okay, well then you would be dead, Gypsy Rose. Oh, honestly. And you suffer with just about every motherfucking symptom of the 1Q21.1 microdeletion, yet you come on here and you act like you didn't have any of them, and that the ones that you did have were really nothing to worry about, and that everybody should calm the fuck down about it. No, Gypsy Rose, no. Because you tried to pin Munchausen by proxy on your mother for trying to take care of you, worrying sick every single fucking day about what it could be. And I know as a mom, I had a sick child. And as a mom, that is the most gut-wrenching fucking thing to have happen, is to sit in the ICU with your baby for days on end, not able to figure out what the hell is going on with them. My son spent days in ICU. I would cuddle with him in bed. I'm telling you, it's the scariest shit in the world. And by then, that was my 4th child. I had twins at the end, so 3rd and 4th. Okay? So mind you, I already knew what the fuck I was doing, and I was scared out of my fucking mind. So just for a second, put yourself in Dee Dee's shoes and think. Okay? And then at this time, too, her teeth are rotting out of her head, like I said. Her baby was sick. She was in constant fucking worry. And there's so much proof of that. But watch the news reports, okay? I believe that the con got to be too much. Dee Dee was ready to throw in the towel. She couldn't keep up with anything anymore. She wanted to just say, hey, I'm done. I want out of this, Gypsy Rose. And Gypsy, she wanted to keep it up, like I've said. And she didn't need the burden of her mom there anymore. She needed her to get the fuck out of the way so she could continue to do what she do, because she fully planned on going back to that house. In fact, she wanted to make sure that her mother's body would be out of that house, because apparently she thought she was going to be going back there.
To that disturbing murder story that spans 2 states, authorities first thought mom and daughter were missing and endangered.
But this case has taken several disturbing twists since their disappearance Sunday night.
Julia Fellow's been following this story. She's in Waukesha County, where that couple just made their first court appearance this afternoon. Julia?
That's right, Stephen Courtney. On top of the $1 million bond that they received in Missouri, they received another $1 million cash bond at today's extradition hearing here in Waukesha County. Through a faint voice and sobs, Gypsy Blanchard made it through her first court appearance.
Springfield, Missouri.
It may be hard to tell. Both of these pictures are of the 23-year-old. The Greene County, Missouri sheriff says she lied about her age, health conditions, and that she needed a wheelchair to gain sympathy from the public.
This is a tragic event surrounded by mystery and public deception. We also know that she can walk without assistance or a wheelchair, and she can do that very well.
This all began as a missing mother-daughter case in Missouri. The case took a twist Sunday when deputies found the mother, 48-year-old Claudinia Blanchard, pictured right, stabbed to death in her Springfield home. The probable cause statement shows Gypsy admitted to giving the knife to her boyfriend, 26-year-old Nicholas Goodyjohn. Goodyjohn stated he would not have killed anyone unless Gypsy had asked him to, and this is why he killed Claudinia. Gypsy told investigators she took money out of her mother's safe and headed to her boyfriend's hometown of Big Bend, Wisconsin. Investigators say Gypsy admitted to using strong language in a post on her mother's Facebook page. It confirmed she was dead. Investigators traced the post to the Big Bend address. After an hours-long standoff, the two were taken into custody. We have much more coming up tonight at 6, including the strange way prosecutors say the two tried to hide the murder weapon. Reporting live in Waukesha, Julia Fellow, today's TMJ4.
Okay, bitch. So you could, my mom died, and then it would be con after con because of that. And she was going to say that, hey, Gypsy's physical therapy was working and she could walk. Wow, look at that. Everything's over and done with. Everything's fine here. Hallelujah, we're done. That's what she wanted to do. But the devil always takes over the weakest link, doesn't he? I mean, in her own interrogation, right after the arrest, just shows that she knew what she did. The way that she sat there, the way that she played, she manipulated. She used that stupid little kid voice. She knew when to use that voice, when not to, when to be which way or another, way to act chalant. She acted like nothing fucking happened, telling story after story to the poor officer that had to sit there with her, And her own lawyer even said that if she didn't take that plea deal for 10 years for a second-degree murder, that she would spend the rest of her days in prison. She would die there.
Gypsy Rose's lawyer actually said about her and her situation and after the plea deal was given. One of them is in a documentary. The other one is outside the courtroom after she received the plea deal that she got. Now, I made a video about this a few nights ago, but I didn't include both clips. I also didn't include another clip I'm going to show you, which is Nicholas Godejohn's actual defense lawyer and what he says about Gypsy Rose. So first, I'm going to show you what Gypsy's lawyer said, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what Nick's lawyer said.
The ultimate ending of the plea was Mr. Patterson reduced the charge to murder in the second degree. Ultimately, the agreement was for a 10-year sentence. I think all of us involved are relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table, and just uncovering the things that we uncovered throughout this case. Obviously, the anxiety level continued to rise, knowing that she faced life without parole, and ultimately the sentence.
Now, when he says their anxiety continued to rise, it's because they have seen evidence that the public has not yet seen, and they knew that Gypsy was going to die in prison. With that evidence, they knew they weren't going to win if they didn't take that 10-year deal. Now, let me let you hear this other clip from Mike Stanfield, her lawyer.
We also weren't sure that there was even a defense that we could raise. If we went to trial and we lost, Gypsy would die in prison. She would spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Which she, in fact, should have spent the rest of her life in prison. But, like I said before in many videos, Dan Patterson, the district attorney, was up for re-election that year. In fact, he's still the district attorney to this day. And when you have high-profile cases such as Gypsy's and a lot of pressure coming from the public, because mind you, they were all for Gypsy at that time, that puts a lot of pressure on a prosecutor. If he would have went against the public, he would have probably lost the election. Think about that. Now, I'm going to play what Nick's defense lawyer said, even though he obviously did not do that great a job, and Nick is trying to get resentenced. But this is what Nick's lawyer has to say about Gypsy.
But she wouldn't stop until it was done. If she was going to find somebody to do it, whatever it took. I want you to think about the ways that she set about doing this. The most important way is she did, in fact, manipulate him. She did, in fact, manipulate him. And we can call it anything we want. That's what she did. She manipulated him into doing this. And again, why did she kill her? Because in her mind, she had no choice. Gypsy manipulated Nick, a low-functioning person with autism. And then Gypsy pressures Nick into committing a homicide against her mother. And that's the way that it's sort of a triangle, and they all sort of victimize each other in some ways. She felt like he could do what she needed done, and she manipulated Nick. She planned virtually the entire thing. She obtained the gloves, she obtained the knife, she paid for everything. He didn't have any money. He couldn't have paid for anything. She paid for everything. I guess she's technically stole the knife, but she told him when, and she made the decision to move it up. She decided, we need to do this quicker because you're about out of money. That was her decision. It was her decision to kill her mother. She talked him into it. He didn't talk her into doing it. She talked him into doing it. Nick was so completely in love with her and so obsessed with her that he would do anything. And Gypsy knew that. And Gypsy knew that.
Now, with all that being said, I want you guys to really think, especially you Gypsy supporters, really think how the court system works, okay? Like I told you, he was up for re-election, the prosecutor. Think about how that works. You can actually go Google it or use ChatGPT. I know how you kids like to use that. I actually did a video on that the other night about political stance when it's a high-profile case, and it gave me some really insightful information. You should go watch it. But, yeah, even Gypsy's own lawyer knew that they did not stand a chance if that would have made it to trial. That should say enough, y'all. That should say enough. And now, she is off of parole, free to do pretty much whatever she wants. Do I think she's going to reoffend again? Yeah. Not in the way she did before, but yeah, I do. Anyway, you have a great night. I'm going to show you.
Like she should. He made that statement. What does that say to you? That says to you that, hey, we just put a guilty ass fucking murderer back on the fucking streets. Yay for us. Because if you think for 1 second this fucking gremlin ass bitch isn't gonna fucking do something else, you're silly. You're silly as fuck, because she is. And she'll play these manipulative games. She's gonna keep on doing to us what we allow. You gotta put her in her place every fucking second. That's why I also talk about Anne Boleyn. Because Anne Boleyn needs the same fucking thing. I've been watching old videos and old reaction channels to Anne Boleyn too. You are a bitch. A fucking bitch. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm getting my blood pressure up. I gotta stop. I can't. She learned about her being ill right away in her life. She learned what it would get her. She learned how she could play and manipulate and do all that shit. And that's how she became the fucking monster that she is today. And then, like, these phone calls, doesn't Krusty Christy sound weird? Like, I'll be your mama. Like, that's fucking weird. Why would you say that?
Sweetie. Hi. Yes, baby. Hi. Oh my God, it's so good to hear your voice. Oh, it's so good to hear yours, my love. Oh, so good. I can't really talk much about what happened because my lawyer said not to, but I just want to let you know that Aunt Celeste had put some money on my account so I can call you and Eddie or her. And I just want you to know, and please let Daddy know that I'm innocent. That's all will, baby. And look, Daddy and I will be there when you get to Missouri, and we will help you. Thank you. And your brother and your sister love you so much. I love you so much, too. I love you so much, too. Does Daddy still love me? Daddy still loves him. In fact, he's coming home tonight. I got to go pick him up between 2 and 3 in the morning. Okay. So next time you call me, you got to talk to Daddy. Okay, good. I have like 15 minutes on this call, but I'm happy that somebody tried to get in touch with me because nobody else got through, and all of it is about it. Me, and then the stuff they say in the news is horrible and not true. Oh, no. And we were in touch with the Missouri Police Department. I called and talked to Detective Toole where you're at, and he told me he was going to let you know that I called. I don't know if you did or not. No, nobody didn't tell me much. I told him to tell her, make sure that we love her, and they will be there, and we will not leave your side, sweetie. You have family. You have family that love you. You are not alone in this. Thank you so much, because honestly, I thought it's a complicated situation, but what they say on the news is not true. You know that I love my mama, and you know that I would never let her or to be killed or any of that. I'm no Connie. I'm no sweetie. And they have arrested the man that did it. Yeah. He was my boyfriend, and unfortunately, he did what he did because he wanted me to come live with him. And I'm so sorry that you're suffering, that you're getting all this blame that the media is saying. I know. And like I said, when we get to Missouri, so, Daddy and I will be able to sit down and talk to you. And, right, and I'll be able to tell y'all the truth of what happened. And it's really hard in here because it's like I've never been in trouble with the law. No. I've never been in jail. And over here, it's like everybody is so cold. And then they showed what the case was on the news. And they're like, Gypsy accused of killing her mother with her boyfriend. And I'm like, that's not true. And then they have some inmates in here that's like, you're a mommy killer, and they're all part of me, and it's just horrible. I'll never be able to take your mom's place, but But you're the closest thing I have. You're the closest thing I have to my mama. Yeah, and I'll be your mommy, baby. Thank you so much. And I was wondering if I get through all of this, and I'm able to get out somehow. I don't know if it's my trial or what, because I've never had to go through this before. Is it okay if I come and live with y'all? Because I have no one else to go to. Baby, you are welcome here. Thank you so much. I would not be a burden at all. I'm a good girl. Oh, baby, I know you are. Trust me, I know you are. I know your heart, please. Exactly. And I was thinking, if Aunt Celeste knows, then Daddy must know. Oh God, Daddy must think the worst of me. No, baby, Daddy doesn't. Daddy does not. Daddy loves you so much. Please tell Daddy that I love him too, and that and I love you, and tell Mia and Dylan I love them too. I sure will, sweetie. I'm letting Nikolai is praying for you too. Good. And I'm gonna hang up, but okay. I'm gonna try, and my lawyer should get in contact with me soon because they were supposed to come pick me up to bring me back to Missouri today, and we were hoping for that, but they didn't. They have up to 30 days to come and get me. Daddy and I will be there as soon as we can. Okay. And, so you don't worry about that. We will be there.
I'll give you all a call when I'm in Missouri.
Okay, sweetie, you call me anytime, day or night.
Okay, thank you so much, and I love y'all so much.
I love you too, sweetie. I'm so glad you called.
Me too. I'll talk to y'all later, okay?
Okay, my love, you stay strong.
I will try.
You stay strong, and I have a whole community here that are just praying for you. We have a support website just for you.
Good. Thank you
for
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Okay, baby.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, I love you. My sweetie.
Hi.
Yes, baby.
The bitch just killed her fucking mother, and I'll be your new mama. Bitch, makes me want to kick her. God. And then listen to how Gypsy Rose talks to Krusty. And that fucking stupid voice. Like, it's so fucking eerily manipulative that I just can't. It's so disgusting. Because I dealt with my sister who was like that. And like, the same type of shit my sister did to me. And it's just like it's flooding back all that. All those memories. So, forgive me, it's a trigger, okay? And anyways, those emails did show that Gypsy Rose didn't care if you were going to be her new mama or not, Krusty. She threw you in the bus quicker than you know what I'm saying? She didn't give no shits about throwing you right where, boop, bye, bitch. Gypsy didn't want the con to end, to be honest with you. Gypsy thought she could also get away with murder using the little kid alter ego as well. She thought it would get her literally out of everything. And it just about did. I mean, think about it. She took a plea deal for 10 fucking years because of an election going on, and it would have looked terrible if they put the sweet, innocent, tiny little white girl behind bars for life. That's fucked up. You know damn well. I'm not trying to make it about race, but you know damn well that if Gypsy Rose were black or Hispanic, done. She would be behind bars for the rest of her fucking life. For the rest of her fucking life. No question. Bottom line is that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was a sick child from fucking birth. And she was spoiled rotten using a con to keep getting what she wanted. Things are not always what they seem.